The Panthers traded quarterback Teddy Bridgewater to the Broncos for a 6th-round pick in the 2021 draft. However, the trade will not take the Broncos out of the market for a quarterback in the draft, a source told our Adam Schefter. I mean, from the Broncos' perspective, look, this was an insurance policy, right? You knew you couldn't start the season as Drew Lock, your only option as a starting quarterback. Now they at least have Teddy Bridgewater, who, Dan, I know you said yesterday was an instant upgrade. But I want to do a little reading between the lines on this particular trade. Dan, what do you think your biggest takeaway was, and what does it signal for the rest of the league?
Puts those teams that want a quarterback on notice. New England, you're on notice. Washington, you're on notice. Potentially Pittsburgh or Chicago, you're on notice. If you guys want to move up and go get a quarterback, you got to jump ahead of 8 right now. Because Carolina moving on at the 8th spot from Teddy Bridgewater leaves them only with Sam Darnold, okay? And I love Sam. I don't think that Carolina is going to go into year 2 of this new regime with just Sam Darnold. And I think it puts them in play for a quarterback. And so now if you want one of those guys that starts to slip, if you want, because Sam Darnold, as talented as he is, and as much as I loved him coming out of school, there are the things that make you go, okay, we can't totally bet the house on this guy. And I think if Carolina was going to bet the house on Sam Darnold, they would have traded more for him earlier in this offseason. So New England, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Washington, if you want a quarterback, you better jump, Judy. You better jump ahead of Carolina.
The beauty of having Mike T in studios is I'm watching him go like this as you're talking. Your response to what Dan just said?
I've been doing that for months at home, and no one's like listening. Yeah. Thanks, I appreciate it. It's hard, Yeah. Usually I disagree with Dano as much as I love him, but more than that, fundamentally, they have not exercised the option on Sam Darnold's contract. That tells you everything. When we make trades, we want to adjust the contract, whatever we're going to do simultaneously. So think about this delicate dance going on right now. They give up 3 picks for Sam Darnold, yet they don't want to guarantee $18.8 million for 2022. So I think that tells us everything we need to know about the Panthers, that they are wide open at the quarterback position tonight at number 8.
Graz, you agree that quarterback is very much in play for the Panthers at number 8?
I think it always was. I don't think the Bridgewater trade necessarily signals that it's more so, because he was gone as soon as they got Darnold. But to Mike's point, I think it depends on who their guy is, right? It depends on what San Francisco does and who's available. If Carolina has someone in mind and they're there at 8, or maybe they move up a spot or 2, then yes. Then I think, but if they're not, then I think that's when you see the option get picked up right on Darnold, because obviously they feel good about him, or else they wouldn't have made the acquisition. It's just a matter of how good and compared to what can they possibly get in this draft.
Here's the thing about the Panthers, right? They were 5-11, as you know. 8 of their 11 losses came within 8 points or fewer. That's despite having super average quarterback play and missing Christian McCaffrey. So if you're a Panthers fan and your team does not draft someone tonight, can you at least feel okay starting the season with Sam Darnold under center?
Absolutely. For all the reasons you just said, he's going to improve the position. There's some flaws in his game, as Dano alluded to, in terms of turnovers, but it's a good young defense. Christian McCaffrey comes back. They should absolutely compete for a...
Jones sliding to number 15 in the lap of the Patriots. And we're going to have Dan Orlovsky and RC back with us. But let's also bring in Heisman winner Desmond Howard. And Des, let's get your reaction to this. McShay having Trey Lance go to the Niners at number 3. What are your thoughts?
Hey, Kev, I tell you what, there's a lot to unpack there for me. But the first thing I want to say is, and Dan can tell you the same thing, and so could RC, that it is a privilege to be drafted by the National Football League, and it is an honor to go in the first round. So let's make sure that we have that out there on the table before we start making people feel bad about not going where other people think they should go. And most importantly, and Dan made a great point, I've been trying to tell people this, don't get caught up by what number you're drafted, whether you're 1, 4, 10, 15. Make sure that you're cognizant about the program, the franchise that you go to that's going to put you in the best position to succeed. Any agent, any good agent would tell his client that. He would say, don't worry about the number where you're drafted. Let's focus on where we're going. If they're going to put you in the best position to succeed. Now, with that being said, with the new mock draft that's just come out by my man McShay, I always thought that Trey Lance was in play for the 49ers. I never thought it was Justin Fields. I said it was Mac Jones or Trey Lance. I believe that they love this kid's grit, this kid's ability to bet on himself. Of the top 5 quarterbacks, he's the only one that had to deal with true adversity, meaning When he was in high school, they said, "No, kid, you can't play quarterback. Not at this level." No one wanted him besides North Dakota State. Everybody else wanted this kid to be a defensive player. So he bet on himself. He won. That goes a long way with people in the front office in the National Football League. So it kind of makes sense that he was always in play, and he just might be the pick tonight for the San Francisco 49ers.
Des, appreciate that. And by the way, RC, in your second career, you are a first-round draft pick. So I just wanted you to feel okay about this conversation.
Hey, I was wondering, Kev, I was like, how in the hell do I know what a privilege it is to be drafted and how it feels?
I don't know either.
I don't know that.
I don't know either. So I'm with you.
But help me understand this. Help me understand this, RC. Why do you think this is a good fit in San Francisco if Trey Lance lands there, considering the expectations that they have?
You know what? Let's keep it real. Everybody feels like it's a good fit for San Francisco, whichever one of these quarterbacks they get, because of Kyle Shanahan, because of the success he's had, not only in San Francisco, with pretty much every quarterback who has played there, whether we're looking at wins or losses or not, or what we've seen him do in Atlanta, or what his family and he has done in Washington. And so you know what type of coach he is. You know the way that he can adjust and adapt to the skill set of the players. But you know why this is such a big deal today? Because of Todd McShay, because of Mel Kiper, because of Adam Schefter, because for the last 2 months, as the San Francisco 49ers moved up, all we've heard is Mac Jones, Mac Jones, Mac Jones, Mac Jones. And we totally ignored the other guys and their skill sets and how they would fit. Think about this. Think about a big, fast, strong, powerful quarterback on a stretch boot after the San Francisco 49ers have run for 140 yards in the first half, and you're a safety or a linebacker, and you got to make a decision between Trey Lance and George Kittle. That's a decision I am not envious of, and that's what you get when you get a Josh Allen type talent at the quarterback position with the Kyle Shanahan offense.
Dan, the other big story on that mock is McShay having Mac Jones fall all the way to the Patriots at 15. Can this possibly happen? And if it does, help me understand what that would mean for Bill Belichick and the Patriots in the AFC East.
It can absolutely happen. It's the NFL. Nothing surprises me. I would not be shocked if Lance went 3 and Mac went 15 to New England. A big part of that is, what does Josh McDaniels want? And I have been adamant about that all offseason. Is Josh McDaniels going to go back to this type of offense that, we saw them run with Tom Brady for 20 plus years? Because that's what Mac would be bringing. I also believe because of the talent upgrade in New England and the offensive line that is in place there, that it's not all that different than a situation is in San Francisco. So I think if Mac Jones goes to New England, he's going to play really good. If Justin Fields goes to New England, he'll play really good. If Trey Lance goes to New England, he'll play really good because of the situation that is in there around them. So again, I don't think that these quarterbacks have to sit there and go, my goodness, I didn't go to 2 or 3 or 4. But New England is a good place for a young quarterback to go to. Yeah. San Francisco is a good place for a young quarterback to go to. I would say this. If it is Trey Lance, and I said this yesterday, I think it's the greatest flyer at the quarterback position in the history of the NFL draft because of the lack of repetitions he has in college.
Yeah, less than 20 starts and just one last season. Back to Des here, because you started this conversation where it really is about organizational fit. That's the key, not the number on day one here. Mac Jones going to the Patriots. Your thoughts about something like that brewing?
I think it's a good fit because, like Dan was talking about, when you go to the Patriots, you got to understand, I think that they have a history, obviously, of what they can do with a quarterback, how they want to run this offense. And I believe that Mac Jones is a guy, when you look at what he brings to any offensive, to any team in the NFL, his skill set about getting the ball out quick, processing things even quicker, and making sure he throws the ball with accuracy. Not just accuracy, great ball placement too. Those are the things that offensive coordinators want to look at when you have receivers like they have in New England. So I believe that would be a good fit. It's so much more about the fit than anything else when you're being drafted into the National Football League.
And it continues a relationship that Bill Belichick and Nick Saban have with Alabama players going to New England. We will see how this plays out, fellas. Thank you so much. Time to get all comfy and let Elle cook a little bit. Elle?
No, it's all good.